Give me 1 second to make sure we're live. It's connecting. Setting up your meeting for UT Live. Yes, no. Sorry, guys.
Gotta love technology.
Yeah.
It's my favorite.
All right.
What exactly is the name of the YouTube channel where people can watch this?
It's the Arkansas Arts Academy YouTube, or
Okay.
Arkansas Arts Academy YouTube channel. All right. All right, I'm putting it on mute so you guys don't hear me coming over. All right, it's coming, it's live.
Good deal. I'm going to go ahead and call to order the Arkansas Arts Academy Special Board Meeting for Monday, June 18th, 2020. Roll call, Howard Alstorf.
Dave Russell.
Tony Beers.
Mac. Mary Lynn.
Kara.
She's on mute.
Sorry, I said my name. I was on mute. Kara Riley.
All right, with that said, we have quorum. Next item on the agenda is comments from the public. And before we begin, policy for public comments. First 5 people who sign up, there are 3 minutes per person. We will time you, so please try to limit yourself to 3 minutes.
Okay, I'm admitting the folks.
All right, and first up is Leon Wilburn.
Hi, Miss McQuill.
Hello.
All right, I'm going to be muting the folks that are not going to be speaking. Leon, are you connected?
I think he's muted.
I'm unmuted now.
All right, good evening, Mr. Wilburn. If you'd like, you have 3 minutes to address the board.
Okay. All right. Did the meeting just start, or you just going right into? Okay. All right. I got you. That's fine. Well, my name is Randy Wilburn. I am the father of, I have 3 children at Arkansas Arts Academy that we are just on the precipice of completing our first year at the school, and really excited to be at the school. However, we just kind of felt blindsided by the information that was given to us a few days ago about the potential state of affairs with regard to sports at the school. And I guess I would pepper my remarks by saying that when we first came to the school, I can remember sitting down with Mr. Young, and we had taken a great tour of both the upper school and the lower school. And, you know, Mr. Young was quick to introduce Coach Fred to myself and ask Joshua what kind of sports he'd like to play, and that this was a great place to come because not only could you do the arts, but you could also play sports. And, you know, that was one of the first things that really resonated with us as parents, because it's important for us, our children, to have well-rounded educations. We actually sent our kids to the Arkansas Arts Academy for the arts program, be very clear. But I think that there is something to say for individuals, students, if you will, to be able to participate in whether it's a team-based activity or an individual sports activity. I went to college on a swimming scholarship, so sports has been very big, has been big in my life. It actually paid for my school, but that's neither here nor there. I don't know that my kids will ever get a scholarship to go to college, but I think the lifelong lessons that they learn playing in team activities in sports where they're able to develop themselves will speak volumes in what they're capable of doing long term, let alone the simple fact that it will also play into their ability to embrace the arts and to embrace their artistic side. And so I think that, you know, basically doing away with sports at the Arkansas Arts Academy, if that is what the plan is, at least it's my understanding, because the sports that you're offering aren't traditional sports. But if you are able to offer some traditional team-based sports, I think that that my advice would be is to consider them. And if it's an issue of money, then we need to talk about it, because no one's ever come to me and said, hey, we can't do sports because we don't have the money for it, which probably is the reason, or one of the main reasons to do it, to get rid of sports. And so my simple advice would be is that let's have a real conversation about this and figure out what's possible. I just feel kind of blindsided by this whole thing. And again, I really appreciate Principal Wright. She gave us an email that ran down the whole situation, but even her email to me about the state of affairs and what you guys talked about in 2018 was all news to me. And I would think that that would be the kind of thing that you would lead with any parent that's bringing a kid to the school, and you ask the kid, hey, do you like to play sports? And you say yes. Well, you should say, hey, well, that's great. We'll have basketball this year, but after that, it's gone. I'd rather somebody say that to me as opposed to just spring it upon me at the 11th hour, which is what I feel like has happened. And my son is certainly disappointed, to say the least. And the last thing I'll say is, and I know I'm going over my time, is Coach Fred did a tremendous job with those boys. I mean, I've never seen anybody coach as many teams as he coached. And to see where they grew from the beginning of the season to the end was dramatic. I saw a huge change in my son. And those are the little things. Those are the intangibles, I think, that sometimes we miss out on with our kids if we're not careful. And I got to observe it in my son as well as some of his teammates. And I would hate for him to lose out on that type of opportunity, those types of character building opportunities that sometimes that sports can definitely provide. Yes, you can get it in choir, you can get it in the band, you can get it on the drama club and acting and plays. I'm just saying that why not allow for a more well-rounded student that has a lot of different opportunities to continue to develop themselves and their character. And I think sports is one way to do that.
Mr. Wilburn, we do appreciate your statement. And we are listening to you. So I don't know what our next steps are. Does Mr. Wilburn stay in the conference, or is?
No, he will not.
Okay, so
Listen, okay.
say again.
After the five are done speaking, they will become, they will listen and to what we will propose after that.
Okay. All right. So Mr. Wilburn, thank you very much. Next comment from the public is going to come from Justine Carter.
Yes, hello. Thank you for
Hi.
Thank you for letting me speak today, board. My name is Justine Carter. I'm a parent of a future 7th grader at Arkansas Arts Academy School. My daughter started off in the Bentonville School District, but when the spot opened up at Arkansas Arts Academy, we quickly moved over because what we were impressed with was that this is not only an art school in a small group format, but also that this school allows children to explore the multiple facets of arts and to choose sports as well. We have a developing sports program, which is part of the reason why I chose this. I want my daughter to not only experience the arts, but also the linkage of sport to arts. That is why I chose this school. In the previous night board meeting, the board had questioned, does sports fit into the charter of Arkansas Arts Academy? And as I was rereading that charter, 3 or 4 things stood out to me in that charter. One thing is that art teaches you to appreciate others, teaches you respect, compassion, and to hold you at a higher standard. So I know there must have been some incident that caused the board to eliminate art, but I think this can be used as a teachable moment to instill into our children how we can show compassion, how we can respect others, how we can link the arts and sports together. Another thing, when you look up the word definition of what art is, it's using creative imagination of our minds. Sports and arts are linked together. I think you can use that definition in both sports and arts as an expression of the application of creativity and human imagination. That could be interchangeable, those two terms, sports and arts. Also, am I allowed to share my screen during this presentation?
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I will now share my screen. Can you all see that?
Yes, ma'am.
And this mission that we have to be an art-based approach to learning, promoting creative expression and enhanced academic experience. Our mission is to provide a rigorous academic program, purposeful integration of the arts, and challenge our students academically while providing them with an arts-enhanced curriculum. In this charter, the compassion, respect for others, that's who we have to be. And so I think echoing Mr. Wilburn, we were blindsided by not having sports. My daughter is not even necessarily choosing sports as far as basketball or soccer to play at the school. But she was hurt because she has a passion for loving those sports. And it really hurt her to the core to know that students who wanted to express themselves could not. And also, what is this, by eliminating sports, what is this teaching our children? Also, what stood out to me in the school charter was in this third to last sentence, creating compassion, creating a school of passion. This school continues to create a culture in the arts where it is non-judgmental and where the arts naturally brings students of all cultures and backgrounds together. So it seems like that the exclusion of something that can be considered an art and is a passion for some students who are art students and who love art is not reflective of this decision. This is also from the school website, Arts, the Art of Sports. Sports can be considered an art. I dare you to not look at a gymnastics event or a dunk contest or ice skating and not say that there's not art and there's not beauty in sports that we have and that we all love. Lastly, I want to invite you to read some articles about sports and the connection between sports and art. One article, it's about sports and how they can be effective in the fields of social, cognitive, and emotional learning. Another one is about the investigation and interrelationships between sports and arts. The last article is actually a news article. It came from Vanderbilt University, my alma mater, and it's discussing the connection between sports and arts. Two former Vanderbilt alumni sports athletes were actually putting on art workshops. They became burgeoning artists while doing their sports. There is definitely a connection between the two. And so I want this school board to reconsider eliminating some sports over the other and making sure that we have our students learn from these incidents and become a better, more effective school. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Carter.
Thank you.
All right, next up is Riley Helsing.
Yes, hi.
Good evening.
Okay, I am the only student who is able to speak to you tonight. It is my responsibility to be the voice of as many of my peers as possible. Tonight, I want you to think about not just me, but every student who is affected by this. We aren't just talking about the athletes, but every student. We support one another. We attend each other's events, whether it be a game, a performance, or an art exhibition. We are the ones who walk onto the campus every morning, and we walk into those doors, and we are the ones who should have a say. Additionally, I am the voice of future students and students at the K6 campus whom this could affect for years to come. I also want you to know I do not play basketball and I do not play soccer, but this still affects me, much like it affects many other students. Our school has an amazing student body that empowers one another. And our campus is about students supporting students. It doesn't matter what your art major is, and it doesn't matter what club or sport you are active in. We are there to support one another. Additionally, we should discuss all different types of arts and sports. Photography was cut, choir at lower age levels was cut, and these are both arts. Now basketball and soccer have been cut. Who gets to determine what is okay and what is not, and what's next to be cut? We certainly can't ignore the cliques discussion either. This behavior is not always negative. People want to sit with or hang out with people they have interest in. Actors spend many hours together learning lines and practicing for performances, and this doesn't make it a bad thing. Basketball players spend hours shooting baskets and running laps. How is this any different? But how can someone put a student into one box? I'm a dancer. Just because I'm a dancer doesn't mean that I am only a dancer. I am a runner, I am an archer, I'm an artist, I'm an honor roll student, and I am a sister, daughter, and friend. I am not just a dancer. And these other students are not just a basketball player or just a soccer player. And we are multifaceted, and because of that, we should be encouraged and applauded. So many people are talking about what we are losing by taking away sports from our school, but I also want you to know what our school has gained by having sports. Our school has come together more than it ever has. We have gained a sense of pride. We have gained a sense of belonging, and we have gained a sense of camaraderie. We have gained friendships. We have gained unity between campus students and campus teachers. Arkansas Arts Academy is a better school because of athletics. I remember what our school was like before sports and how much we've changed for the better now. Taking away our athletic programs will undo all of the progress and all of the benefits that we have gained. Not only do I believe this, but so do 1,585 other people who have shown their support for our athletic students and athletic departments by signing the petition to bring back our sports. Arkansas Arts Academy is a better school because it embraces interests of both artists and athletes. Thank you.
Riley, thank you very much. All right, next up is Crystal McWilliams.
Hello. If it's okay, I'm going to read, so I won't be looking at you. But I compiled things from other teachers, so I need to read it so I don't not say correctly what they asked me to say. Okay. Can everybody hear me with this silly thing?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. All right. Good evening, board members. Thank you for giving us a chance to speak this evening. We all really appreciate it. I'm here tonight speaking on behalf of some high school teachers, specifically the 12 that reached out and shared with me some questions and some thoughts. I have two main issues we would like the board to regard. First, we would like the board to consider input from parents and teachers on issues that are directly related to them prior to holding a vote on such issues. The School Board Policy Handbook, which I'm sure you've all read, states that the board should adopt clearly defined written policies based on a thorough understanding of the impact any policy will have on the educational process of the school. And furthermore, that they should also consult those individuals or groups to be affected by these policies. We would like transparency and communication between the board, CEO, administrators, and teachers, as we are all here to serve our students and their families, each in our own unique role. We ask that the school board be willing to reach out to teachers who have valuable insight into our students and into their education processes at the high school. It is in the best interest of our students, since any change to policies could impact our departments, the high school environment, and the mission of the charter that we all very proudly stand for. And of course, we are very aware that there will be many times that matters and details we are not legally privy to. Secondly, we would like to address the matter of athletics at the high school, which we believe has become an issue that possibly could have been avoided had there been more communication and input between all the parties involved. All the teachers that reached out to me included, I love sports, do not want to argue the obvious positive benefits of sports and physical activities in the life of a high school student, nor are any of us against having sports at our school. Let's be clear. The concern we have lies more with the responsibility of the 712 high school campus students towards the team sports that require funds, transportation, and time away from classroom education and arts performances. A few years ago, I addressed the board with, which many of you were there, I addressed the board with this concern, the same concern, and the original vote allowed basketball to be an extracurricular activity to be played through the RAC without using funds from our district budget. We believe this agreement was not followed, and now there is even talk of competing in a 2A conference. We would like the board to seriously study and consider the differences between our students playing in an after-school league versus a state-sanctioned conference sport. We are concerned that state athletics regulations imposed on our school will infringe on the classroom time and operational budget meant for core and arts classes. Finally, as you consider whether to continue team sports like basketball and soccer on the 712 campus, the teachers would like the board to keep as a priority our mission and identity of being an art school, especially when it comes to budget funds, amenities, and student class time, so that any sport activity that our students will be allowed to continue to participate in do not come before the arts and the academics that our stakeholders have so graciously already began to involve and invest in. Thank you very much.
All right, Crystal, thank you very much. Up next is Lainey Adams.
Thank you for the opportunity to speak today. As you said, my name is Lainey Adams. I'm a 4th grade teacher at the K6 campus, as well as a parent to a current 2nd grader and incoming kindergartner. To give you some of my background, I attended a diverse high school where I completed a rigorous academic program. I was also involved in drama, forensics, student council, and a number of clubs. I played soccer, I ran track and cross country, I played the clarinet. But my passion and my main pursuit was dance. The beauty of my experience was that I got to be everything that I wanted to be. And that's the kind of experience that I hope for my students and my children to have, one where they aren't boxed in or defined by a label. Those experiences have shaped who I am today, and that I'm not just a teacher or a mother or a wife, but I'm also a dancer and a runner. When I learned that I would get to address you tonight, I felt the responsibility to not only represent myself as both parent and staff, but also to represent the staff at the elementary campus. While I can't fit everyone's comments and opinions into a 3-minute time frame, I will share a summary of what I learned. You heard my personal story, but I heard countless stories from our teachers about their own children and students alike who were positively impacted by sports on our campus, or would be negatively impacted by the removal of sports from our school. Our teachers want to see our students continue to have opportunities to explore their talents and find ways to grow. Our teachers want a place where everyone belongs. Our teachers want a place to be included in the opportunity to be given a part of the conversation and help generate possible solutions. I heard many great points, that arts and sports are both places where people can find commonality, that they're both outlets for talent and ways for our students to make friends and connect. They can promote team building and character development and give students a sense of pride in their school. Many seem to see sports at our art school as an opportunity to further enrich our students, as long as we continue to seek unity, develop character, and find an appropriate balance in our schools with our time and resources. The overwhelming sentiment of the elementary campus seems to be that soccer and basketball could be a part of that balance. For me and for many others, Arkansas Arts Academy is a very special place. Parents send to us their greatest hopes and dreams by entrusting us with their children, and we should not take this responsibility lightly. When it comes to this responsibility, we have a responsibility to our families to make decisions that help foster diversity, inclusion, and consider the dynamic personalities of our community. We certainly need to inform our decisions by aligning with our vision and mission, but also acting with transparency and open communication with our stakeholders, including parents, students, and staff. While striving to promote creative expression and academic excellence, we're not only developing artists, but also individuals who appreciate the arts. Our students will develop into adults who pursue a myriad of opportunities and careers that have been shaped by us and by the arts. But this doesn't have to occur at the exclusion of sports. My hope is for our school to shine as a beacon of light in Northwest Arkansas, where diverse students grow and flourish through the arts and beyond. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Adams. All right, that is the end of comments from the public on policy for public comment. We did that. New business, survey results for sports program.
So I sent you all the results today, and I haven't looked at them the last hour, but I believe when I sent them to you, they were 67% for sports and 34% I don't have them in front of me. 33 for against sports. So I think that is I want to thank Heather for writing that survey. I thought that was a really good way of getting some representation, such as, sorry, I am at my office and these dogs next door are crazy. But anyway, I thought that somebody spoke, oh, it was Crystal that spoke that said that we want representation. So I thought the survey was a good way to get representation, and it did come up to 67% of people supporting. The money part was pretty much in the middle, and it just barely tipped over to where parents should pay for it. And the most favorite sport was archery, and all the way down through basketball. Those were all, the ones that we're talking about tonight were all very favorable. And then sports that we haven't even mentioned had like one or two. So what I'd like to do now is, just so there's, by the way, I want to thank all the speakers tonight. I thought every one of you were amazing, and every one of you were articulate and passionate. And that's the one thing that makes our school special, is passion. And I just thought everybody was amazing tonight. And then I want to say something about our board real quick. The one thing that is great about our board is they do listen, and they are here every month and talk about issues every month. And people don't ever come to board meetings or participate with them until something comes to them. So nobody means to blindside anybody. It's just that nobody really pays attention until the fact. But what's really cool about our board is about a month and a half or 2 months ago, they took a vote that they would like not to have board members have spouses that work for the school. And I thought about that and thought about that. And I thought, you know, that's not really going to work very well. So last week at the board meeting, I said, I'm not sure I agree with your policy. Would you reconsider? And they did. And they asked me to write a new policy. So one thing that's beautiful about this board is if you get involved and do show up or do come, they do listen. And because they have listened, we're going to present something different tonight. So I would really like for you to understand that they are the most heartfelt people, the same people that built the high school, the same people that brought the curriculum, the same people that just put a new roof on the 6th grade center and the new fence, and they care very much about our school. And so even though you shouldn't, I didn't want you to feel blindsided. The truth is they're here all the time, but nobody usually pays attention to them. And for the new board, I had to call and beg people to run for the board. So I think that they've been kind of mentally abused and by a handful of people, and not everybody, and definitely not the people that talked tonight, but I don't think they deserve that. But moving forward.
Hey, Mary,
Yes,
I just want to add more of one finer point to what you just said. Because I think there's a lot of misunderstanding of what we do as a board, and even what you do as a CEO. And I want to try to put to rest, and again, I heard this over and over in everybody's comments that spoke tonight, is the lack of communication. So now I'm going to take that on my ownership to figure out how we create better communication, though I think we've tried this in the past. I myself, or any single board member, has no jurisdiction or power to make any decision with regards to the school. Our board has to act together to make a decision on whatever the school is going to do. Same thing goes with Mary. Mary has to follow the policies and procedures that are approved by the board. And if she wants to do something different, then she or we have to get those policies and procedures modified so that she can act accordingly. But my whole thing here is I want to let everybody know that we just don't individually make decisions. We are working together to make decisions for what we feel is in the best interest of the school based on the information that we have before us.
and so taking the next step is, some people still don't know the history of what happened. And in 2018, And you can put that up, Vic, if you want, so people can see the minutes. The minutes from the meeting in March, I believe 13th, showed that under athletics for the first time, and I highlighted it so you could see it. And these are the actual, Tony Beardsley was president then, Howard wasn't president then. Mary Lay and Matt Young discussed the benefits of having a sports basketball program. The board discussed among themselves to decide before voting. Motion to continue middle school program as it is now. 7th and 8th and 9th grade to continue that funding through a special fund that you are raising the money on in high school be through an outside program funded by parent fees. And so you can take that off now, Vic. So what we want you to see is what the board voted on, and what happened was two different things. So somewhere, the people that organized the sports never shared that they did different things. So that's hard on the board to find out, and what they were getting were complaints that there was bad sportsmanship, that there were cliques, and there were all these things. And then they found out it wasn't even following the procedure that they had asked for. If there had been meetings that before that said we couldn't work out things with the RAC or find another team, the communication would be better. So in our own system, and since I am the top dog, I will take this as my fault, that procedures weren't followed. So that's what happened last week. But since we have taken a survey and we have listened to your emails and your comments, we would like to propose a new proposal tonight. And first of all, work with Heather more, because a lot of it deals with Heather's high school, and even sometimes Heather was left out. But Heather has articulated some great thoughts, and I think she worked with her team to get those thoughts, and she shared them with me, and we've discussed them. And so she has these expectations that the art events will still take precedence over sporting events. We cannot overlap them. It's too much pressure for a child especially, and there's no reason to overlap them. Thank you, Vic. All athletes will still need to participate in 2 art courses each semester. It is clear who is in charge of athletics. See, it's never been clear. Sometimes, honestly, Heather and I found out there was a soccer team after there was already a soccer game. So it is clear who is in charge of athletics, and that person needs to be in full communication with the CEO, superintendent, and the high school principal. And I believe we're going to offer tonight in our proposal that Dave Skelton become this person. And he's very experienced in this area and has passion for this area and has agreed to fill that role if the board accepts our proposal. Number 4, students will not be allowed to leave before the end of the school day in order to attend regular season events. The students who qualify for state or national tournaments or competitions will be excused with understanding they will need to make plans for catching up on any missed work. No stipends are issued from school operation funds, or we cover stipends for all. See, right now, theater teachers, guitar teachers that have evening performances, none of them get stipends. So we have to figure this out. Students have the opportunity to receive a PE credit for archery, swim, cross country, basketball, or soccer, but they will all be scheduled as 0-hour courses, and coaches must put in participation grades throughout the semester and final grades for report cards in order for students to receive credit. Mountain biking can be taken as an actual class because it's not limited to the team, and most NICA events occur over the summer and early fall. Buses will be prioritized for arts and museum activities. Coaches can use a bus when it is not in demand. Otherwise, parents are responsible for providing transportation. We will modify handbook with the following policies. All students participating in after-school performance or events must be present at the school for the entire school day. This includes, but is not limited to, student performances, practices, athletic marches, school dances, and other social activities. All performance and student athletes must maintain a minimum of a 2 as the last progress report issued every 2.0 as issued every 6 weeks in order to perform are complete. The next part of our proposal, and Vic, if you'll put this up there, is so that we have better data in the future, is we would like to have a sports rubric. And I would like to ask Rachel Carpenter, Vic, can you get that put up there? She will circle cross country, NICA, basketball, and soccer. I guess I lost Vic. Anyway, oh, there it is. She can, for the athletes on the cross-country team, she can report how their absences were and their tardies. And she will also report, as the interest of the school is who majored in visual, culinary, musical, just to have that interesting information. And we also want to help our athletes be better, and our artists, as far as that goes, with student services, which conclude volunteering to pass out programs at events, clean up the PAC or grounds, tutor a student, help a teacher for at least an hour, you know, to ask, and then record how many student athletes helped in other ways, because I think that's just good character. And then we will track behavior issues. How many athletes received fractions in the first category, the second, and the third? And then funding, how much and how was it funded? Coaching stipends, bus mileage, entry fees, uniforms, and other. And to be honest, for a year, till at least next year, it's going to have to be raised. The funding is going to have to be raised. We have secretaries in all the schools that make very, 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 very little money that need raises. And we aren't giving stipends to the arts people. So after next year, we will finally really be in the black in a really good, healthy way. And then maybe we can help a percentage, but I still want to give the raises to our teachers and things first. And because I do think in this community, we can raise the money for sports. And then if you'll go to the next page, the last thing I'd like to propose is a code of conduct signed by arts athletes, arts student spectator, and arts athlete parents. And this is just out of the AAA handbook, not AAA Arkansas Arts Academy, AAA Arkansas Arts Association. There's a lot of A's. We should get paid by the vowel, and then we'd have enough money for sports. But anyway, so what I'm proposing tonight is that David Skelton become the athletic director, not any additional salary, and that he will report to the board every month how things are going. He will communicate with Heather and Matt. And at the end of the year, the school board will, at that time, and the new superintendent go over the facts that Rachel has collected throughout the year, or even report after each sport, and see how healthy our sports program does, and either find ways to improve it. If it needs improvement, well, everything always needs improvement, or then see if we made a mistake, which I don't think we'll find at all. I think we just need to stop, pause, and make a blueprint to run these programs at the same level as a national program. So I am asking at this time for the board to take a new vote and support basketball and soccer for 2020 and 2021.
All right, so Mary, one of the things I would like to, and I think you just did it, but I'd still want to do it again.
Right.
I want to clearly state in black and white what athletic programs we are talking about.
We would like to have the archery for sure, that we've already voted on. Single students, like in swimming or whatever, get to go to state in our name if they qualify through their organizations they participate in, and which we approved already. Cycling through NICA, which we'd already approved, and now ask basketball and soccer. And I think continue to play the other charter schools, and they could play other double A, are we AAA? Double A programs if they don't conflict with the major art events we have.
And cross country, Mary, cross country.
Cross country, yes, ma'am. Cross country too. Thank you. Thank you, Estelle. So I'd like you to rescind last week's vote, and because of the survey and because we have paused, and we want to serve our parents and our students, but we want to improve the programming. We think the programming does need some improvement, but I think that David Skelton can do that, can lead that charge.
You want to consider private schools as well as charter?
Yeah, I can do that.
All right, I'm going to open it up to the other members of the board for discussion.
I'm Tony here. I'm comfortable with what's been presented, just making sure that we continue, like I said, we honor what's been proposed. No funding, because like Mary said, the teachers and other staff deserve a raise. And want to make sure that that's not affected in any way. Also, that arts is the number one focus. No leaving school because I've got to go to a basketball game, that type of thing, or adjusting schedules so that a person can play sports. I'm okay with what was presented tonight, as long as we're assured and that we're updated on a regular basis that all the things that were presented tonight are being followed.
Hi, this is Kara. So we kind of talked about the stipend issue. I think we have agreed. I'm not on mute, am I? Okay.
No, you're good.
I think we have agreed we are not going to stipend any coaches, right? Are we going to revisit that topic at the year mark? I mean, I'm not in favor of it, but you talked about all or none. So,
well, we can, by January of next year, we'll have the growth money from the new 100 students that we'll receive this year. That would allow for that. So, but I just don't feel like we have them funding till January.
okay, fair enough. Just wanted to clarify on that point.
That's what our financial people have said to me.
And I couldn't quite clearly see all of that code of conduct. Was there? Yeah, I know you sent it to me. Was there a part on there about getting dismissed from the team for behavior infractions?
Well, that's on the rubric. Well, they will have the same infractions of any art student or anything else that's listed under discipline policies, fraction 1, 2, or 3. And I do think AAA, Dave, can you go ahead and comment on that? Dave, can you comment on that? Unmute yourself.
Yes, I will comment. I read through the code of conduct that was sent to me. And to be honest, the AAA, Arkansas Activity Association, their code of conduct is much stricter. The players after the third ejection is dismissed for the year.
Yeah, here it is. It's on this one too. Third offense, immediate removal, offender from the event. There you go.
Okay, thank you.
Not just from the event, but
From the team.
from that team.
Okay.
The only comment I'd like to make, just for the people that are on the call right now, is I know there's been a lot of discussion around funding, and the one difference that I want to let everybody understand from a charter school standpoint, our funding for the school comes from the state of Arkansas. When you start comparing us against public schools like Rogers, Bentonville, Springdale, these schools are not only federally funded, they are locally funded by the millage tax that we all pay in our communities. We, as a charter school, do not have access to those funds. So again, we are limited to what we get from a state perspective per child. And when we are asking questions about funding, it's generally because we're trying to make sure that we're operating within our budgetary constraints on the income that we do get, and to make sure that we're focusing on what is important for the school.
Can I make a comment?
Yes, ma'am.
So I have a couple of things to say. First of all, I think that I would agree that it is probably that is prudent to revise the decision that we've made, and for a variety of reasons. And I do, the passion that we've seen, and I distinguish between passion and inappropriate behavior. But let's just address the passion at this point, right? So we appreciate that. However, I think that the main reason, and I wish that we had that. That I wish that I was that so brilliant to have come up with that, just to table the vote, because I realize that we have students who have already signed up to attend our school next year, who have made plans and to play the sport next year, right? So that would be unfair to them. And on the, but remember, we're just humans. We're people for whom you all voted or actually not voted, mostly because our parents do not vote in school board elections, whether they're opposed or unopposed. So however, we do have the power to make those decisions. So we should have made a pause, because yes, we have students who signed up to attend knowing that they would play a sport. And another thing is that also, it's also unfair to our soccer team because of the virus and the whole, they were only able, they paid the fee, they had the team, they practiced, but they were only able to really play two games. So I think that makes me comfortable, definitely voting for this proposal. And I think it is very well thought out. I do, however, have to say that we're AAA, we're not quadruple A. We're not the Arkansas Arts and Athletic Academy. Yes, rounded humans are wonderful. We love sports. I love sports. Mary Lay is a huge, athlete. All of us are. However, our school purpose is to develop people and to develop art, students in their art. That's what differentiates us from other things. What else we provide is negotiable. And so when we talk about money, yes, money is, of course, money is not indefinite, but it's, if a student attends a game and therefore does not audition for a musical, and we don't have enough people auditioning for a musical because they're prioritized sports, then that hurts our school's mission. And again, I'm not anti-sports. I think that sports are great. And I'm, this is my last month on the board, so the decision will be out of my hands. I do believe that we need to keep it for a year, but I think we need to very seriously review our priorities. So that's what I wanted to say. And yeah, but I am in support, but I think that we do owe it to the kids who are already enrolled to continue it for a year.
Thank you. So Dave, do you have a comment?
I do. So I agree with what everybody said here tonight, and I applaud the people who spoke. Motions have been running high the last few days, and I have felt bad that Mary has taken so much heat for that. It was the board that made this decision. Really all we did was act on keeping the decision that we made back in March of 2018.
Right.
And rather than seek to understand and compromise, there were a lot of people who got angry about it and things were said. And I think this meeting is an example of how we can come together and talk through things with a level head and achieve compromise. So that was what I wanted to say. I am in favor of what's been proposed. I guess I'm done. I think I was the last one. We can probably call for a vote, can't we, Howard?
Yes, sir. All right, with that said, I will entertain a motion to reverse last month's decision and put in place the new decision for the policy procedure that was recommended by Mary for a one-year review of the programs outlined in the proposal.
So moved.
Second.
I have a first and a second. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
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 All those opposed say nay. In the absence of nays, the ayes have it. Motion carries.
And then I would like to let David speak for a minute. And then when David's done, if you don't mind, I would like to share one other thing, please.
Okay, David?
David?
Okay. Well, good evening. And thank you, board, for this opportunity to speak. Thank you, Ms. Lay, for this opportunity to lead our district in establishing guidelines for our new athletic program. Thank you, members of the board, for your vote of confidence that the arts and sports will not just coexist, but will thrive. My purpose tonight, let me advance a slide. There we go. My purpose tonight will be to lay out the framework for this journey. Ms. Lay and the board have been instrumental in developing a state-of-the-art campus in the prime location of Northwest Arkansas. As we grow, we continue to look at how we can serve kids. There seems to be a large interest in athletics at this time. I think we can meet these needs while maintaining the fundamentals of our charter. Our first step will be to assemble a committee to lead us through this process. This committee will consist of the athletic director, a representative of the Arkansas Activities Association, a 7-12 teacher, parent, student, administrator, and a member of the Arkansas Arts Academy Foundation. This committee will develop a plan to address the following. It will define the role of the athletic director, select an appropriate character education program for our athletes, produce and ensure protocol for parents and spectators are followed, support student athletes, to develop a board-approved handbook for our sports program. Next topic. These are topics of concern. Funding. The primary source of funding will continue to be participation fees, with help through donations, gate receipts, fundraisers, and grants. Very little, if any, state funds will be used. Competition. This will fall under the direction of Arkansas Activities Association, the governing body of high school athletics. Character of our athletes. We will expect our student athletes to be a positive role model for our student body and to find ways to serve the school and community. Supervision. The school administrator will attend all games or matches. Myself or Mr. Young will continue to be the supervisor at home games and away events. Communication. We talked about transparency tonight. As your athletic director, this will be my responsibility. I will provide weekly emails, updates, monthly reports to our board, and communicate with high school administration and staff. Again, my purpose tonight was to provide you with some insight and to lay out a plan for the future of sports at Arkansas Arts Academy, a sports program which our community, our student body, staff, and school board will be proud of. I will report to the board as progress is made by this committee with the expectation of a finished product later this summer. Thank you for your time, and I look forward to this opportunity. Thank you, board.
Thank you, David.
I have a question.
Yes.
Needless to say. So then this all sounds wonderful, but so what is then, that's a question to you as well as to Mary, I guess. So what is the overall purpose then of this? So are we in fact like, to me, this looks like prioritizing sports and giving it even more priority than it has right now. So is that in fact the direction that we're going? Because that's, again, that's not the spirit I think that this board is, maybe I'm misunderstanding, but that's not the spirit in which I voted.
It's to fix the problems of not communicating among each other, for everybody to know what's going on, to make sure student athletes are artists too. If not,
but all these issues are going to be taken away from actually the focus on the art.
No,
What about the character of the artists? What about, and again, like, yes, funding, we're not competing maybe for the same funding, but there's only finite amount of private funding in the Northwest Arkansas. So if there's funding given to the same people would not be able to fund both the art and the athletics, they will have to choose. So it's a rhetorical question because, I know this is happening, but to
well,
me,
let me assure you that the character of the
to me, that
athlete,
seems like we're tilting.
no, that you don't see all the things that we wrote out this week, but the character of the athletes included how they were going to showcase their art, have art shows, help at art events. That's part of the character. He just didn't break it down tonight.
No, I understand that, but I'm just saying all of this is also time and attention taken away from our school's focus of the art. If we're changing the focus of our school, I'm fine with that. This is just something that if this is happening, then this is happening. I'm okay with that if that's what everybody decides. But it's just a concern.
Sure.
No, yeah.
Okay. And the funding, there are people that fund athletics, certain grants that fund athletics, but don't the arts, and that's what we'll tap in. We will not tap art donors.
I guess I'm the only one who has this concern, so never mind.
Well, it's okay. So I like, you said some great things. So it's okay. I'm just assuring you that it's okay. I promise.
The way I'm looking at this, David, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, is this is kind of putting the structure around the
Yes.
sports program that Mary was just talking about to make sure that we're staying in line with what we're all agreeing to this evening.
Yes, and to improve communication, get everyone at the table. The committee will talk about and discuss and the character, what do we do? How do we fund the competition?
How we don't form cliques, how we.
The future board, so on future board, every board meeting will include discussion of athletics. That is prioritizing. Yes, that is shifting the priorities. That's all I'm pointing out.
Okay.
Sell the way I look at it,
But that's a good thing.
Is that it helps us be a watchdog to make sure that things are not going in the wrong direction away from the arts. That's the way I'm viewing it as Sal, is when
Yes.
we get that report on where did the funding come from, what were problem behavioral issues or whatever. That's the way I'm looking at it, is a watchdog for us as the board. Because me, Sal, I'm very much into the arts, and I do not want to see anything that would take away from that.
Okay.
And so hopefully by putting David in charge of this and him reporting and showing us, if we're seeing that we are drifting, like you concern, we are focusing too much on sports, then as a board, we can rein that in. That's how I'm viewing this. And I hope that's is what David is planning to do.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. And this is just, this was just a concern that I had. Like I said, I'm not going to
Thank you.
I'm not going to be there next year. So, but I do, I do believe in our art mission of our school.
Well, so we know that. We do appreciate you very much. Just want you to know that.
David, will you take your screen down? David, yeah, thanks. Okay, and then the last thing I'd like to say, and then Howard, you can finish this up if you don't mind. The hardest thing, well, first of all, my job was posted on a national search, if anybody wants to look at it, called Arts Consulting Group. It went out Friday, if anybody wants to go to that website and see it. I will be here till September 15th, so that everybody knows that. And I want to tell everybody how much I love them and I appreciate them and how much everybody means to me and how I've tried to give everything I've had to this school. And I won't leave until we find somebody that will do even better than me. And I'm not saying that's hard. I'm just saying that's the goal. And I want to say that one thing that has hurt my feelings this week, and I'm going to be transparent about it, is, and the speakers tonight were perfect examples of the right way of doing things. But the biggest problem we've had in school last year, as far as discipline, was social media. Social media hurt more students. More bullying was done through social media. There used to be that saying, sticks and stones will break my bones, but names will never hurt you. Well, social media hurts, especially when we have open door policies at this office, especially when I will talk to anybody, anytime, listen to anybody, anytime. We'll own it when I make a mistake. We'll adjust things for the needs of your students. And I love our kids, and I would never, ever hurt them. And I'm glad, I feel proud of the board tonight that they do listen. I hope that what this led is more people will pay attention to the board all year. We'll run for board in the future. We have 2,400 parents and only 130 voted for the new board members this year. And then I have many more emails with that. I had people call our board members names. I had people accuse me of things, and it hurt. I'm just gonna I know how kids feel now. It hurts. But if social media is our biggest discipline problem with students, then I just ask that the parent Facebook, and I'm probably inviting you to do more, but I'm asking you to think of how you are affecting the role model of social media. And I've never denied a conversation with any of you. And so I'm just asking that because I believe in our school, and we can't just think of the person that will be applying for my job. We're doing a national search. We were funded, we were given a grant to do a national search. Think of what that person can do for your child that comes from a major arts organization. And think if they were interested and then did research on social media and found that parent Facebook of all the ugliness went on the last 2 weeks. Would you want to come and take that job? We might lose a great candidate that can bring to this school of everything I dreamed of and couldn't do because of things that were said that could have been said just like the speakers did tonight. So I'm asking you as a lover, not as an angry person, to think how that came off, and hope that we can always improve together. That's all I have to say. Thanks.
Yeah, and I'll just take a moment to pile on to that, and I know I can speak for Tony. You know, one of the comments that's been out there is, and I spoke to this earlier, is that apparently I have all the control over the school and what it does and what it doesn't do. I want to just freely say that I've been involved with the school board since the very beginning, even the beginning of the school itself. And one of the things that I quickly learned was I had a strong passion for creating programs and an environment for kids to succeed. And the best example I can give you all of this is not only my 2 daughters that graduated from the school and had such confidence built up in themselves through the arts programs and what they were able to accomplish, but there were 2 younger boys that were going to the elementary school at the time. And both the boys had behavioral issues. But I saw them one day do a performance down at the Walton Art Center out in the open air theater they had out there. And when they started performing Midsummer's Night Dream perfectly and in line with what was going on around them, I just started to cry. I never thought I would see these 2 young boys find something that would hold them and create such a passion in them and make a difference for them to be in a program that was growing them as individuals. And I know Tony has a story himself, but the whole purpose I am involved with this school is to help kids find their passion through the arts, and this school become a premier place for kids to grow. And to Mary's point, there's been a lot of comments made on social media the last couple of weeks that and I choose not to react to it on social media. I would prefer somebody come talk to me. Unfortunately, I cannot have direct conversations with most people unless we're in a board environment. Otherwise, I am going to become a biased person, and I can't make decisions once I have knowledge ahead of time. So I will, just like Mary said, I will encourage parents and or teachers and or students, please come to the school board and let us know what the issues are or what the concerns are, and not create all this negative environment and atmosphere behind the scenes in social media when all you're doing is create one-way communication. And
Thank you.
I'll-
Tony.
Howard, I agree with you 100%. You know my passion for this school. I've seen what it did for my daughter. I've seen what it's done for other kids. And it breaks my heart when I see how people treat other people on social media around our school. That's not who we are. And I just want to make sure that we stay focused where we are. And you can even hear my voice crackling here because that's how much I believe in this school. Just everybody be nice. That's all I got to say.
Well, I just want to add that, yeah, it was a little bit discouraging last week with social media. But I have to say that I have received, I think all of our board members have received several just wonderful supportive letters from parents. The people who spoke today were so just as passionate as we are about our school and respectful, that it definitely restores your trust and your belief that our school is going to be okay. It's a very, if you look at those comments, it's a very, very small number of people, you know, and somehow, you know, really for people to think that there's some kind of perks coming from the being on board or being the board member, or there is, you know, some kind of a far-reaching conspiracy that we, you know, gather underground and make, you know, decisions prior to the board meetings, you know. Yeah, that is ridiculous. But fortunately, I think we're very, it's very clear right now that those people are a very small minority. And my faith is totally restored by today's speakers and by all the other communication that we apologize. We cannot reply to individual emails. But we take it into consideration.
Thank you, Asel. All right, are there any other comments? All right, with that said, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Have a first and a second. All those in favor say aye.
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 All those opposed say nay. Lack of nays, ayes have it, motion carries. Thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you, everybody. Bye-bye.